So female vocalists would be, I've always liked bands like Concrete Blonde and Four Non Blondes, the deep, resonating, tough voice of women in rock, not the, light-hearted, pretty voices. So, so I've always kind of gravitated towards that. I mean, I like bands like Garbage. Shirley Manson has a wonderful voice, and early on there was a band called Die Cheerleader. Sam Ireland had this just amazing vocal tone. It was just so deep and resonant, and I don't want to say angry, but you could like really feel the emotion from it. So those are the kind of vocals that I've always been drawn to, even since I was really, really young. And I have a fairly low voice anyway. So, it's like listening to them and then singing along with it when I'm like 12 years old. I was like, okay, this is where I belong. This is my vocal register.
And what does the name Those Things Silver mean to you? And how does it connect with your artistic vision?
Really, because to me, silver items, silver things are symbolic because they are reflective. So they can kind of mirror your soul, and at the same time, they spiritually, they resonate with female energy and the moon. And of course, then there's purity. In religious rituals, silver is for purity, but at the same time, it can become tarnished. So there's just so many different elements to what silver is that I just always found it very interesting. And I used to have a website called thosethings.com, which I don't even know if it's there, like, accessible anymore. But so I kind of added that to silver, and then Those Things Silver.
It's a really cool name.
Thank you.
When writing a new song, do you usually start with lyrics, melody, or a vocal improvisation?
I think it depends on how it comes to me. A lot of times I'll actually compose something through dreams. Like I'll actually dream about vocals and music, and I'll wake up and I'll have to get on my phone and I, sing it into the voice recorder, so I don't forget the lyrics that I dreamed about, or I'll just kind of hum, the music that I heard in my head. And actually, I have a few songs that are out that are solely from dreams. And I know it's a weird thing. I don't know if everybody does
it's
that.
It's weird and amazing.
Or maybe it's just me, but also, just life experience and things that happen with friends and family, and it'll just get me thinking. Like I have kind of a poetic mind where I'll look at a picture, or I'll see something, I'll hear something, and a little poem just kind of pops into my head, or a little story. So I have journals and notepads all over the house, and I'll just, write it down. So I have just lyrics everywhere. I try to be organized. But I have piles. Like I have piles of notebooks that are just with lyrics and, ideas for songs that I haven't even gotten to yet. So
you've got enough material.
Yeah, I have a lot.
How much of your songwriting comes from personal experience versus abstract or symbolic storytelling?
A lot of it is personal experience. Probably the majority of it is, either subconsciously or consciously, that it's therapy for me. Just, it's like if you get angry or depressed and then you just want to write it down. And again, because I'm such a odd person and everything's a little story or a poem in my head, I'll just write it down and then I'll be able to use it later. So.
In Stardust, your vocals feel both fragile and powerful. What was the emotional journey behind recording that track?
Um, that song was actually written about a 3-year relationship that I had where he was very abusive. And it's one of those things that just kind of stuck with me. I was pretty young. I think I was maybe 25 when it happened, but and there was just a lot of hurt and loss, and but I learned a lot from it. So it's kind of like the universe speaking to me while I was still young, telling me what to look out for, what to do, what not to do. So yeah, I felt like I needed to release that whole experience somehow to kind of get past it. I mean, I'll never forget it, obviously, but the song was definitely therapeutic and just a way of telling my story. And if he ever hears it one day, I'm not sure he'll understand that it's about him, but but yeah, it's just something that I had to do.
Do you prefer working alone on vocal ideas, or do you enjoy collaborating with producers or other musicians?
It's interesting because it's easier. Okay, in a way, emotionally, it's easier for me to work alone because I'll have this vision of what I want to do. It'll be in my head and it'll be set in stone. And then, I can just do it. However, when I do something completely alone, all the music, all the vocal arrangements, production, everything, it takes forever. It takes so long, so it could take 3 years to get
Yes.
one song out. So, collaborating with people speeds up the process and does make it easier, but then at the same time, you have to kind of go back and forth to make sure that, you know, you're in line with what they are passionate about and what they feel comfortable with, and then they have to feel the same way with what I want to do. So I think mentally and emotionally, it's more work. But just as far as time constraints, you know, I'd rather, for instance, I'd rather someone else do the music and then I write the lyrics. But of course, I have to, usually like I'll compose something in a very rough draft, a rough form, and then I'll kind of hand it off and say, okay, recreate this. But, do whatever you think is beautiful and what you feel comfortable with. And then they'll do that, and then I'll add the lyrics. Or sometimes, the music is, I'm just really happy with it and it's awesome. And, right away I'll just be like, oh, I have lyrics that'll go with it. I can do this. And then I can knock it out in, a couple hours.
And how do you prepare your voice mentally and physically before recording?
um, I really don't. other, other than drinking water and maybe, doing some stretches, I kind of, because I've got the studio in my basement here. So, I have like a little sound room office area in a big closet in the basement. So it's kind of like when it hits me, I'll just run down there and then start recording, which probably isn't the best thing. So I wouldn't recommend that to anybody because you should do vocal exercises and such to make sure you stay healthy. But
Follow
yeah,
your own advice always.
exactly. But I'm bad. I'm bad.
Are you planning to release a full album, or do you prefer focusing on singles?
Um, I'm still kind of finding, after so many years, I'm still kind of finding my way, where's my journey leading me to the type of music that I should be doing. I still don't really know. And I like so many different genres of music that it's easier just to release singles and then, just see what happens. I would like to do an album, but I'm kind of waiting for that moment to hit me where the universe is basically telling me, okay, this is the kind of music you should be doing. This is your genre. This is your tone. This, because if I put out an album, every song will have a different feeling to it, and it just won't be cohesive, which probably isn't a very good thing.
And which of your songs feel the most personal to sing and why?
um, Probably Stardust and Cold are my most personal, are the most personal ones, because those are the two.
Happens.
Okay. Probably probably Stardust and Cold are the most personal to me, because those are the first two songs that I did completely by myself. Um, uh, and they were both based on personal experience. So they're kind of my babies, and they'll always stick with me. And again, Stardust was just very emotional and about domestic abuse and things that are really important for to get out there, so people don't feel so alone in what they experience. And then Cold is actually about health issues, which a lot of people go through, and then they feel really alone with that as well. So I kind of feel like it's personal to me, but I wanted it out there so somebody can listen to that and go, that's how I feel. It's like Cold is a reminder that you might go through hell and feel awful and be upset and depressed and just want it all to be over, but you can survive and get through it. And it's just all about being strong. So I just feel like because those two songs have such important messages to me, that, they're the ones that will stick with me the most. And hopefully will stick with other people, but that's up to them.
And how do you want listeners to feel when they hear your music for the first time?
Um, I would hope that they'd feel some kind of connection to it and actually listen to the lyrics and listen to what I'm trying to say, because even though the music might sound a certain way, like maybe it sounds like dance music or something, but if they listen to the lyrics, maybe it's something that they can connect with. And again, if I kind of feel like if I make one person feel like they are heard and they are not alone and that they have somebody else that is connected to them in that way, emotionally, then I've done something worthwhile. Okay, I would like it to be more than one person. If it's two, then
Obviously.
but yeah,
It's really beautiful that. What has been the biggest challenge so far as an independent singer?
um, I think really getting anybody to even listen in the first place. I mean, once they listen, they seem to like it. But, financially, I don't have financial backing behind me, a management company or a label to market and push music out there. It's really hard to do it on your own, especially if you're someone like me who doesn't really want to do music videos and, dance around on reels. I can't see myself doing that, and it's unfortunately a requirement these days.
Don't do it. Don't do it. It
Yeah,
would be better for you
yeah.
and for everyone.
So I think, yeah, I think that's
I hate that.
yeah. I mean, it's just, I kind of look at it, especially, for women, that we want to be good at something and not have to focus on our femininity, our sexuality, or how we look. That shouldn't be part of where our passion lies. And unfortunately, that's what's getting attention, is putting on these skimpy outfits and dancing around on a video. And if the music completely sucks, nobody cares. It still gets thousands of views, but if you do something where you're trying to just be true to yourself and humble, it's really hard to get it out there and have people listen to it. That's definitely the biggest challenge. If I can win the lottery, here and, the Powerball where it's like $1 billion, then I think I could do okay. But until I get some money, because I mean, I guess for like just one album, you need a couple $100,000 to even, get it out there, promote it properly. It's really, really difficult, especially when you don't have like other people doing it with you. With me, it's either all by myself or one or two other people. So yeah, definitely financially, that's the biggest challenge.
But time to time.
Hmm?
Time to time.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself exploring new vocal styles or genres in the future?
Definitely. I'm kind of doing that now a little bit. Um, I mean, there's certain kind of music that I know that I can't do. Like I've tried to rap, I cannot rap. I can barely do spoken word. Yeah, spoken word is the closest, but the timing, people don't realize the timing with rap is really difficult to do it well. Um, Sorry, my phone is doing something weird. Okay. Um, so definitely I can't do that, but and I'm not the biggest fan of country. Um, I like Johnny Cash and Dolly Parton and maybe a little bit more edgy country, but I probably wouldn't explore that too in depth. um, I don't know. I mean, I think I can basically sing lots of different things. So I don't mind trying it all out just to see where I fit. But yeah, I'm open. I'm open to basically anything.
If you could collaborate vocally with any artist, past or present, who would it be and why?
Um, it would be Ian Astbury, who has been the voice in my head, the soundtrack to my life since I was about 10 years old. I heard his voice for the first time and he's so incredible and he's so different than everybody else. There's no one that sounds like him. And that is what is so important to me is a unique vocal. Like you could be streaming music and immediately when it's a song by The Cult or Ian Astbury because his voice is so unique and different than everybody else. So that would be my fantasy dream bucket list. Ian, if you're listening,
Let's manifest it.
yes, please. I'm a nice person, Ian. I really
Please, I
am.
want to see that.
Manifest, manifest.
Everything is possible.
Hmm. That is very true.
And it's more nowadays with social media.
Mhm. Yeah, I have a
It's
sneaking.
easier.
Yeah, I have a sneaking suspicion, though, he has somebody else do all of that for him. He probably never sees one comment from anyone. So
But it happened the same with Johnny Depp. And I don't lose hope.
you never know. You never know.
I know. And looking ahead, what do you hope people will discover about those things silver in the next few years?
Ugh, Um, I just hope that they discover me. You know, it's so funny because just like on Spotify, I still can't figure out how it works because you go on Spotify and you have 1,000 monthly listeners, and then 10 hours later you have 500 monthly listeners. 500 people just disappeared out of nowhere. So I have no idea how music really gets out there. I think it has to do with financial backing to have management and labels, things like that for marketing. But I just want what I do to be of value. Like I have no need to be famous. Um, I just want enough people to listen to what I do and connect with it. Again, just so they don't feel alone because, we all feel so alone. So I think, yeah, that's really the most important thing to me. If I could just get my music out there so more people could listen to it, then I'd be happy. And if the money comes along with it, that would be wonderful. I won't say no.
Of course. And do you have any advice you would like to give to young female musicians?
Um, you know, I think that a lot of people want to get into music for the wrong reasons. It's a ego thing for them. They want to be famous. They want people to look up to them. They want to be elevated and placed on a pedestal. And I would just say, throw all of that out because that's not what's important in life. And life is way too short. You don't know, like I, who knows what's going to happen to me 24 hours from now. So what we do today is really what's very important. And so if somebody wants to get into music, I would say just be true to yourself, be humble, and just talk to people and connect with people and be there for them and be honest in your lyric writing and in your music compositions. Like no matter what instrument they want to play, the emotion flows through it, and you can always tell when there's no emotion there. And yes, there's plenty of artists out there that have absolutely no emotion behind what they do. However, they do really well. But I kind of think that everybody has to be able to wake up in the morning and look in the mirror and know that they did something valuable with their life. So I think that would be probably the most important thing is to just, you can do it if you're just honest. Just be honest, be humble, and understand that everybody is the same. Nobody's better than another person, you know, if that makes sense.
It's a great advice. Thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank you.
I hope to listen to more of your upcoming singles
Thank you. And hopefully an album. There might be an album. We'll see.
and a collaboration with the
Yeah.
quilt.